Hello everyone, welcome back. So, before we get started here, just wanted to say thank you everyone who is continuing to watch, to support me, and no matter how much you watch, just clicking it, I really appreciate it. At least it gives me some feedback. It's not a whole lot. I wish you guys would comment, or, maybe go like, or tell me your opinions on the game or the gameplay, maybe something that would, maybe you guys would want to watch it more. I don't know. I guess it's I'm thankful for everyone who clicks. Basically, I'm thankful for everyone who does watch this, and so I thank you very much. But on to the gameplay now. So, like I mentioned last time, we're going to go to the tunnels, and we're going to do the labyrinth part, which is really easy, especially when you use a travel skill. This is why I think later on when you're doing maps, they do their very best to stop you from using travels. Okay, yes, I know where we're at, mostly. Yeah. I believe this is why in the other parts of it, they really, because the traveling skills, wow, the lag there, very good. And it's good they have them. It can break a lot of the trials and tribulations they set up, because you can jump over a lot of the traps that you're kind of meant to, like, try to deal with, or use timed things to try to get around, and levers and cranks and stuff like that. A lot of it becomes basically like, oh, what's the point? I can just skip it all. So yeah, until that point, basically they're all pretty easy. And even then it's still easy, you just gotta break the totems basically before you do them. But I think a lot of people kind of say, I don't care to break them, I'll just take the damage and hope I can heal through it. Which is a pretty good plan. The only problem is when you do maps, you only have 6 tries. They limit it in that sense, which is... it's a good feature, I say. I think it's good to be like, hey, you're dying too much to these things, you should try to fix something, and if you can't figure it out, you can't just throw your face against the wall until you win. Because, the game is, generally speaking, trying to progress you towards more harder maps. So, you start out, basically, on the end maps, dying, maybe only having, like, 1 left, you can get there, and then eventually you're getting gear from doing those, and then you're progressing to more difficult areas, more difficult maps. And it kind of like slows you down a little bit at that pace. But you don't have a... Ooh, that's nice. You don't have a time limit though, so that's something. And you don't have... you just have to complete the map, basically, without dying too many times. It's one way to limit it. You can limit it by a bunch of different ways. Diablo 3, they limit it using the... time. You have to do it both in time, and you have to do it kill a certain amount of percentage, basically, as well as killing the boss, in order to progress to the next level. And depending on how fast you do it, you can get more of them. It's kind of a smart way. This one, it's like, okay, start off with the basic, and you can craft your own modifiers, and then as long as you complete it, there's no time limit, so in case you want to go at a slower rate, that's perfectly fine. Because there's no, like, boss time limits. So I guess there's, it's kind of almost a less competing factor, actually, because there's no time limits. But at the same time, you can't really modify creatures or the maps in Diablo 3, which is something I think if Diablo 3 were to add on modifiers, I think that it would be a lot more interesting, but the problem with that is when you add on being able to add on modifiers, you start going, okay, how can I quantify who did better? Like, let's say they're doing a build that's like, oh, you know, they do 200% element, or they do all elemental damage, and then they have a modifier for basically reflect of elemental damage. And if they manage to get through it, what is the value of that in comparison to doing one where they have a bunch of other modifiers and reflect for this is it, by the way, this is all it is. And our physical damage resistance because of our didn't trigger it, oh well. It's not that big a deal. It still isn't that big a deal. It's not that difficult. Anyways, that was all that is. Then it takes you to the front there and you just go back. See, I did it like I promised to it. You know, some of the stuff is, I think, probably not a lot of people want to watch, but I promised I would do it. And so I'm sticking to what I have promised. Anyways, like I was trying to say, qualifiers and quantifiers and stuff like that. So, I don't know, it'd be difficult to tell. That's why I think, though, you probably couldn't, it wouldn't be easy to do both. There is probably some type of factoring system you can do, but this would also help solve the problem of the super unlimited nature of the greater rifts in things, and the infinite factor of greater rifts in Diablo 3. Sometimes you know, it's just on the tip of your tongue. You want to say it, but you can't figure out how to get it all out there. And because in Diablo 3 they have just basically you just keep going and the numbers keep going out basically. And all the modifiers are only on individual like monsters. Whereas when you do maps, you have modifiers for the entire map that modifies all the monsters as well as the monsters modifiers. Here's the side quest, by the way. This should be no problemo. Hopefully. And then I die. And then I go, oh, I'm a sad, sad little man. This isn't too bad. The damage is more direct, so it's not something we can't handle. I think it's mostly physical, so it's not too big of a problem. And then we have a bleed on us right now, if you see in the upper corner there, but I think that's just going to be, you know, because it's a physical damage, you have high physical resistance. I mean, not super high physical resistance, because a lot of our resistance is actually just coming from our flat up endurance charges. There's another reason why I was thinking that probably better to go with Immortal Call. But anyways, I think this is all pretty much physical, and so as long as it's not too hard hitting elemental, because elemental has a much lower cap, 75%, whereas I think because we have a bunch of flat, I think the cap on physical is like 95, something like that. It's pretty ridiculous. Although it's not as ridiculous as the the ones in God, what was that game again? Yeah, so we could just tank it like that. That was a little bit silly. Oh yeah, this person, in case you care to know, was Sin's wife. Shut up, Sin. No one cares. We killed your wife. And there, now we have all of them unlocked, so there's no more of that. Getting this one's, by the way, if you're looking for choices, these ones I suggest for this character. This one might be good though, because you can't be stunned, and you can't really be stunned. Instead, I'm like, let's just get more physical resistance. And there's only one, basically for bosses. And this one's like, each time we get hit, we get an additional 1% reduction. Yeah. You could go this one if you really want to stand still. It is more, but this way we can move around. How long does that last for? I don't know. I don't know. But you can also do something like this one for reducing damage taken over time, which would be good because chaos resistance, though we are going to have quite a bit of it once we get our next one, which will be at 58. We'll have this one. And then per turns charge, we'll have 4% chaos resistance at 7. That will make it 28 flat, which is pretty good. Alright, let's see. Why are we going up here? I could actually go here and get us even more chaos resistance. And here there is 4, 4, so that's 8, 12, and then there goes 20. On top of that, the 7 Durn stars we have there. That would give us an additional 7, 28, 20, 48%. But almost negate the total negative you get from that. And then you could get a little bit of chaos res on gear, maybe, and then you'd have just complete reduction, basically. Let's see, though. Sorry, we're going this way. We're getting this, because that will be useful, because I am really tired of having to carry on a mana flask. Although, here's something I think I should have known a lot sooner. But I didn't realize because I never paid that much attention, and you guys probably won't know it either. I mean, maybe you do, maybe pay better attention to certain things than I do. And that is that if you have Flask A, and Flask A is the same as Flask B in terms of it's not the right word for rarity, but the same terms of level, like how I have all the same ones here. You can't activate Flask A and Flask B at the same time, because if you do, Flask B will just override Flask A. Basically you can't like stack up healing effects because it'd be too powerful, I guess. Even though sometimes you're taking millions of damage in one hit. And you're just like, well, I can't out heal it no matter what I do. Ooh. But yeah. Okay, let's not go that way. We need to go this way because this is the general way. It's usually along the walls here for the ways that we need to go. And yeah, about that fast. You can have one be like instant, and then it does not very much healing, but it'll do instant healing. Then you can have another one that does like heals a bunch, and they can be the same level. If you want to do instant flasks, I suggest, and this is just something I kind of have seen, and I was like, oh, why didn't I think of that sooner? Is that you get an instant flask. You don't want these ones that do a lot of health really quick. You want the ones that just have really big numbers, because instant always has a % reduction. So the larger your basal number there, the more instant is going to recover. So let's get a really huge instant one. I think the Divine Flasks are the largest. And then you fully cap out their charges things. And God, that's not a good way to put it. You cap out their quality modifiers, like plus 20 or whatever, because that makes them restore the most. And then you just slap on a big fat instant if you can. You know, go cycling through them with blue, what is it, augments and stuff like that. I can go back to town afterwards and, you know, say which one it is for sure. But you just kind of modify that, and then you get a large instant flask, basically. And so this way, whenever you're like, oh, I need to heal now, use that one, and then you have another one going on that if that doesn't heal, it heals a lot over time. It's like 60 or 50% reduction in the amount of healing it does when you turn into an instant. But I mean, if you have like the Divine Flasks, which are huge, they're like 2400 health, but it takes like 10 seconds for him to get to full heal. Oh, here's the boss. Here's the other boss that we need to defeat. Should be relatively easy. It only does electric damage. What is my resistances right now? Oh, it's cat, basically. So, I mean, he's getting a 65, 60, 70%. Ooh, that's a lot of reduction there. I should be dead. I so should be dead. I am thankful for this build. It's just one of those things that I designed it around as being able to be... This is... You should not take these things, these hits, basically. You should... I mean, true, he could be dead already if I was doing a more damaging build, but you most definitely, on any other type of build, would not be able to take hits like this. It's a little silly. So it's kind of a trade-off. You have to be a little more engaged if you're doing a different build. Ow. No, I died. I am a loser. You know, it'd be kind of interesting though is to do a total reflect build. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah. I forgot to activate. Oh, I died again. I'm dying way more than I should be dying. I'm bad. This is just me being inept. Has nothing to do with anything else. Why do I feel like? I really wish I had a 6 tank. Oh well. See, it wasn't too bad. I've died more before, but I don't think I've had to take that long. You can't always be 100% the best at all of them. But I mean, you saw those. Usually, those hits will kill you, no matter what you do. And you know, the point of it is, some of this is user error, and so you can make user error, and so you might want to make some modifications. Some of this is just not having, like, my weapon was higher, it would be good, but the problem with just a higher weapon is that you lose that additional effect of it. And something you'll find a lot of times with melee weapons anyways is that you need to have a better weapon to output your full damage. And it's something you can't avoid. Although I think that you could probably also make this more of an elemental build and less reliant on because this one doesn't have to be fire, but you could add modifiers and do elemental hit. Elemental hit doesn't require you to have your weapon because it just has a bunch of base damage and you put modifiers in it. So you could go elemental hit, I believe it's elemental hit, and then you could go ahead and not have any fire additives to it or modifiers to it. Can't do increase in physical, but could do increase in element. You know, anywhere there's an element increase, you could use it. And then you could just use this build and plug it in. Another good thing about this build is that it is highly modifiable. You could be doing physical and doing impale, especially at the paths we go along. You know, impales wouldn't be hard to do, bleeds wouldn't be hard to do. You could switch it into crit. Oh yeah, for the feather thing, I prefer to give it to Irasha. Story behind it is that depending on who you give it to, you know, basically determines how the life of everyone else goes, and apparently the other guy is quite a dick. So I would suggest going with her, but you know, doesn't really matter that much because it's just a game, guys. It's just a game. Put this away. Oh, put that away too. No. Go. Okay. Ugh. I can't do anything with that, can I? No. You know, I'm just gonna take that back and put that in there. I'd rather have something I can modify. Or my bow person that I run every once in a while. Run around with every once in a while. Oh boy. Okay. Where are we at? Oh my. Okay. We're actually gonna head it off now, guys. Finally got that. You only need this, really. You don't need to go down the entire tree. Because we don't need that much stuff. Alright, guys. I'm gonna end the video here. You know, last time was a little bit longer. This one's a little bit shorter than last time, but, you know. I'm just trying to extend it a little bit than I was doing originally because I think it's... I don't know. If anyone wants to suggest, you know, about, like, times, like how long or short to make it, go ahead and suggest it because, you know, I never have hard times, but, like, you know, it has to be 10 minutes, it has to be 15, it has to be 20. It's more like, you know, shooting a ballpark of 10 and getting around 15 is fine, or shooting a ballpark of 10 and, you know, 12 is fine. But that's not the... So if you have any suggestions, go ahead and hit me up. You know, again, please comment, like, subscribe, share the video out, especially if you know anyone who you think might enjoy these videos. And if you don't, you didn't. So for now, I'll say goodbye, sayonara, avida say, and good night to you. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.